Hi everyone, through this video you are going to learn meaning of hypothesis and its type. First let us see who has invented the term hypothesis. Sir Ronald Fisher. He wrote a paper in the year 1925 about null hypothesis. From that onwards he is called as father of null hypothesis. Let us see what is the meaning of hypothesis. Usually, hypothesis used to test the relationship between two or more variables. In research, most of the thesis, dissertation, even project, it has its own hypothesis. For example, if we increase the advertisement expenses by 25%, then we will see an increase in revenue by 50%. It is an assumption. We can prove it by using hypothesis. After testing the data with a suitable statistical tool, we can come to the conclusion about the statement. There are many number of hypotheses. Here I am only going to discuss about these 6 hypotheses. First one is simple hypothesis. It predicts the relationship between two variables. One is dependent variable, another one is independent variable. What is dependent and independent variable? For example, smoking is a prominent cause of lung cancer. So in this case, we know lung cancer is a dependent variable because it caused due to smoking habit. Hence, smoking is an independent variable and lung cancer is a dependent variable. Here, the hypothesis framed to test the relationship between smoking and lung cancer. Next one is complex hypothesis. In simple hypothesis, we have taken only two variables, but here we have to take more than two variables. It predicts the relationship between two or more independent and dependent variables. For example, individual who eat more fruits for increasing his immunity, reducing cholesterol level and high metabolism. Here there are 4 variables. Independent variable is eating fruits. Dependent variable is due to eating more fruits, it helps to increase immunity power, control cholesterol and increase metabolism. Next one is null hypothesis. This is the hypothesis we could see most of the research papers and project work. The null hypothesis is a negative statement. Here it specifies there is no relationship between variables. There will be no changes in the dependent variable due to manipulation in independent variable. So at any cost, independent variable does not affect the dependent variable. Examples: attending physiotherapy session does not affect athletes' on-field performance. Usually, the field performance may affect his training or attending any physiotherapy sessions. But here the researcher specified physiotherapy session does not affect the athlete's field performance. Another null hypothesis is there is no difference in strength between people who exercise and who do not. Usually, researcher reject the null hypothesis. When null hypothesis reject, at that time automatically alternative hypothesis will be accepted. It is just the opposite meaning of null hypothesis. Null hypothesis specify there is no relationship, but alternative hypothesis specify relationship between two variables. Usually it is specified with these term H1 or HA. So there is a relationship between dependent variable and independent variables. It can be categorized into two types. One is directional alternative hypothesis, non-directional alternative hypothesis. Directional, non-directional also called as one-tailed hypothesis and two-tailed hypothesis. So this is the diagram used to specify one-tailed test and two-tailed test. So here, this is the portion there is a chance to reject at a 5% level of significance. But in case of two-tailed, there is a chance to reject this point or that point. So there are two directions. So one more example is a happy dog will eat more. The answer is yes. So here it has one direction. Another one is mood affects the appetite of dogs. So based on mood, the eating habit of the dog will be changed. Sometimes it eat more, sometimes it eat less. So this is the example for non-directional null hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis is categorized into two hypotheses, directional and non-directional. Directional hypothesis means when a researcher have a concrete idea about the relationship between variables based on already existing theory. That means already proved analysis may be tested by another researcher. At that time, he has to use directional hypothesis. It is also called one-tailed test. For example, girls' exam performance better than boys. So based on lot of public exam result, percentage of girls' performance is better than boys. That's why this directional hypothesis has developed. Next one is non-directional hypothesis. It does not predict the exact direction. The researcher does not have a clear idea about the direction. For example, there is a difference in boys and girls' performance. Here, what kind of difference is not specified. So, some confusion is there without having prior knowledge. The non-directional hypothesis has developed. Next one is statistical hypothesis. If a statement describes about the population, based on that, some hypothesis has developed. Sometimes two samples are taken from same population and test the difference between two samples. When we have compare samples with the population, at that time statistical hypothesis we have to use. For example, 44% of Indian population belong in the age group of 22 to 27. Here researcher test the sample result with the population one. Last one is empirical hypothesis. It also called as working hypothesis, because this kind of hypothesis differ from a wild guess. Based on the past experiments and observation, researcher developed hypothesis. Women who take iron tablets face a lesser risk of anemia than those who take vitamin B12 tablet. So here some experiment proved that iron tablets reduce the anemia risk than compared to vitamin B12 tablet. I hope you understand this video. Thank you.